time for all things racing and Jesus with your hosts, Daniel Hillian and Mitch Reynolds.
That's right, man. It is episode 52. We are hot, actually smoking hot, off of round three from Dresden, Ohio of the NEAT series. And man, Mitchell and I had a great time. Across the table from me, the Rocket Reynolds. How you doing?
What's up? It was a hot one. Fortunately, we were up there in that nice little trailer park in the sky up there. It was nice to get in the AC there, but it was a hot one.
It was hot.
For sure.
I was telling Dad today. I said I don't think we left the trailer, the air conditioning, except to like go to the bathroom because it was hot. It was
indeed.
So stinking hot. But as always, off the top, got to give it up to the people that make it possible for us. 88 Live to Ride, Mr. RJR All Terrain Motorsports, 110% nutrition. And let me tell you, we were going through it Saturday.
We were.
Yeah, get on there, use our code REMAIN. Helps grow the sport, helps us out, helps you out. So get you some. Phoenix Handlebars, use code RITR15. Actually ran into one Daddy Rhodes, Braxton Rhodes' dad. And he goes, hey, man. Needed some handlebars. Something came up. Called the guy. Jason is his name that owns the company. Talked to me. Got him in the mail coming. And
Boom shakalaka.
I said, I love them, man. It's great.
Yep.
Use them. Sofa Brand MX. Use our code RTRP at checkout. You got to rock your Sofa Brand.
I did. I got to spin a few laps on the Martin machine, Tessa Martin's Yamaha. Pretty fun. Wish I could have turned some more, but I had a good time. Got to put the gear on and got some comments, man. I love the Sofa Brand MX.
I did.
Every time I put it on,
At one point,
this stuff's nice.
We were standing there talking to Taylor Underwood, Elijah Scott, Kyle Scott, Dodd Scott. Maybe someone else was standing there too. Anyway, they were asking about it, and Mitch did all but take it off and hand it to him. It was very uncomfortable for me because you're like, look at these leggings in here. And I'm like, yeah, I've got a pair that's not on a man. If you would like to see them, we can go get them out of the truck. But they're great. Check it out. Sofa Brand MX.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, you know? I mean, you can talk about it all day, but, you know, I could show them. Like, man, these are nice. They're sweet.
They are nice. They are sweet. PH3 Photo and Video. Josh Klein, man, he's helping us out. And so we want to return the favor, give him some love. And Kaiser Wheels, man, got to rock my Kaiser Wheel hoodie on the way home as we were asleep in the airport. We'll get to that story. But we're going to have a couple of segments here. So we'll do just an intro, a live intro. We're going to talk about the Midwest Series from their rounds in Iowa. We'll take a little break. We're going to talk about the NEAT Series, and then we'll close it up. But before we go too much further, bring in the 924 of Landon Williams. What's up, Landon?
Oh, man, not much. Sometimes it's 924, sometimes it's whatever I ride. So.
That's why on my Sofa Brand MX, make sure you use our code to check out RTRP. I just put Super D on the jersey because every machine I ride is a different number, especially in the flat track world. You know, cross country, I'm Cooper's number 20. I'm number 20. So we are here in the Remain in the Race studios. We actually have the race from the NEAT series on the TV in here. So if we get quiet, we may be watching. We're actually watching the Pro-Am Spec Tire heat races right now. So if we get real quiet, we're watching all the action. But it was, oh, man, we need to come back to this. Watch Garrett right here around the outside.
That high line was nice. Like, I think it was Dylan Dworick on Friday night. I'm like, dude, quit going so high. You're dusting us out.
There was a nice little
Little
groove.
did I know, that was the line.
Dylan had it figured out.
He had it figured out. He just had it early on. But Chucky was using it. It kind of went away a little bit later in the day. But 3/4 of the day, like that high line looked like it was way up there. But, man, it worked until it didn't work, basically. Yeah, it was good.
Sure enough.
Chucky Creech is always one to find the high line. I mean, he was doing it at Paducah, I remember, and yeah, he's always one to find the high line.
Well, that's because he runs those Kaiser wheels that allow him to get up on that high line.
That is right.
It does look cool. You can see it from the mains this weekend, and he's even got the mud plugs on.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, for aerodynamics.
Yeah, those things look good.
They do.
They're light. I mean, they had like 0 weight. This is good. I mean, they're not a net zero, but they're light. So it's all good, baby, all good. But yeah, man, what a good time. I had a blast up there with you guys, just listening to you guys all day, chiming in here and there. Eric Ashcraft and Daniel never run out of things to say, and it's pretty impressive. Tasha was like, I would be so exhausted right now if I talked like you guys all day, and I think we could have kept going. I mean, we were getting tired, but I think we could have kept going all day. So it was really cool to see every single class race and talk about them. And well, how about our trip up there, Super D? Let's talk a little bit about our trip.
Let's talk about our trip.
It was an eventful trip, first and foremost. So, we've been trying to get this EDT church going at all the events. It's been going really steadily at the Midwest. It's going, Moto Church is going well at the MX. The NE-EDT, it's a little bit of a newer thing, but it is going to become a regular thing. But Mr. Quinn Michael, a guy who used to build some sick machines, race TT back in the day that we knew, that did church back in the day, we reconnected with him recently, and he's like, hey guys, when you come up to Columbus, I will pick you up. I will give you a place to stay. I'll take you back and forth track. Like, dude, Quinn, you don't have to do that. I mean, I appreciate you offering. And he's like, no, seriously, I want to. And if you know Quinn Michael is like the nicest man on the planet. Yep. So
haven't talked to him in 16 years. And when I got home, Dad said, well, how's my good buddy old Quinn Michael's doing? And I said, hadn't changed one bit. I said exactly the same. He's got gray hair now, but other than that, exactly the same.
Full throttle, excited, loves people, will do anything, literally give you 5 shirts off his back.
Yep.
This guy picks us up at the airport first thing, takes us to his house, and his wife has a great meal cooked for us first thing. Mm-hmm. But guy literally drives us around. We go to the grocery store. He won't let us buy groceries. We really wanted a steak. He brings steak to us, brings Dairy Queen to us. We're like, Quinn, man, you are just absolutely, like, you can stop. Seriously. Like, yeah. I really, really appreciate it. And we had a great time. But, man, what a good time with Quinn. He was wide open. He got really excited to be back at the races. And I think he's got the bug to be on a machine.
Yeah, he just jumped in and started, visiting with. I mean, he went Quinn. He did Quinn things.
He did. He went Quinn mode. That's what we're gonna call it. Quinn mode. Yeah. He's like, we got to get waters. We got to get lunch meat, which we got like 15 packages. He's like, everybody needs a sandwich and everybody needs water. Take care of them.
He puts other people first. That's for sure. But we go to the store. And he's like, hey, what kind of lunch meat do y'all like? We're like, oh, just turkey's fine. He's like, ham and turkey, okay. And gets like 4 packages. And it's like, I plan on eating one sandwich. And so then Sunday morning, we go back, or we went and did the little church service. And then we ran up to the Dollar General just to restock all of our stuff. He grabs more lunch meat. And I'm like, is this for your guys at work? Like, what do we do? Like, I think we're good on. Nah, man, let's get a lot of lunch meat. Let's get some water. He's got like 2 or 3 cases of water in the bed of his. He's just a giver, man, and he just gives back. And it was awesome. It was so much fun being around Quinn, and can't thank him enough. And his wife for basically just throwing the door. We basically, I've got to tell.
Well, yeah,
this is
some
great.
People.
This is great.
Some people don't know etiquette.
So Quinn's wife is from the Dominican Republic, and she is amazing. Wonderful lady, fantastic cook. Just, awesome, fun to be around. And this is just something I do when I go to someone else's house or I'm in someone else's. I always try to go in the door behind them, because what happened to Mitch has happened to me before, okay? The story I'm about to tell. And so I always like whoever the host, let them go in first, and then I watch what they do. Because some people, it's like just roll up in the house. Some people, it's like you take your shoes off outside. Some people take your shoes off as soon as you come in the door. Some people, it's, dip your fingers in some water, put a cross on your foot, whatever it is. I just do that, And then, so Mitch walks in first, and he just steps in the door and just trying to give enough room for Quinn to walk in and for me to walk in. And as soon as Quinn goes in the door, bam, shoes are off. And so I'm taking my shoes off, and I'm trying to reach to Mitch to be like, get his attention, like,
get your shoes on.
And his wife comes around the corner because she hears the door. Well, she comes around and she goes, "Hi, yeah, your shoes." And Quinn just starts laughing, and I start laughing. It wasn't hello, it was nothing. It was, your shoes,
Needless to say, I took my shoes off.
And Mitch is like, oh, and he's like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, no, it's okay, but just take your shoes off. And it was the funny. And Quinn's like, she's the nicest lady ever, and I've never seen her get so excited about someone having shoes on in her house. It was great though, man.
Obviously, laughing. I didn't read the room like Super D was trying to rescue me.
And I was trying to be like,
I was like,
and it was,
I'll take my shoes off.
It was too late. The ship had already sailed. And so another thing that I do is like we were sitting down for like a lunch, and Quinn says, hey, what do you want to drink? And I said, man, I'll have what you're having. You know, I just remember in school one time we was talking about it, and it was like, because you may go, oh, well, I like to have a Sprite. And be like, well, I don't have any Sprite. Okay, well, how about, and then it's like, how about what do you have? It's just kind of a weird thing. So I've just always been like, I'll have what you're having. And my doctor, my family practice doctor, he has a little farm, and I help him farm in the fall. And I did this with him. And every year for like 10 years now, in the fall, I drink Diet Pepsi. Because that's what and he thinks I love it. So, Dr. Mike, if you're listening, Diet Pepsi is the armpit of everything in the soda world. It's horrible.
But you don't want to.
No,
you don't want to disrupt your welcome.
Nope.
So, no, I'll drink it.
I'll drink it. And I think one time he had diet unsweetened tea. And I'm like, I'd rather just lick dirt.
I didn't know they made such a thing.
Why would you make... Dr. Mike is keeping them in business. He's the only person I've ever seen with one, like just walking around. And it is so bad. But hey, that's what he offers. That's what we're going to have. And I just roll with it. And so,
fair enough.
So same thing with Queen. He goes, hey, what do y'all want to drink? What? And I said, I'll have what you're drinking. He goes, well, Sprite, Pepsi. And Mitch goes, man, I'll just have water. And I forget when I'm with Mitch, like I have to really watch my diet. And so I was like, yeah, I'll have what you're... Yeah, water will be fine. He goes, water for all of us. And I was like, oh, okay, good. We're all having water now. Because I didn't want to be like, yeah, go, pour us these nice glasses of water. And then he comes out with like, a soda or something. And I don't know. It was funny. It was cool.
Clearly, I don't hesitate. I don't read the room. Walk in with my shoes on.
Whatever.
Person asks what I want to drink. I'm like, water's great. Like, I'll take water. And drink a Coke, I was going to be in trouble.
I was just laughing. I was like, oh, Mitch has no idea right now.
I need to go to, so Super D, you were talking about these lessons that you've been giving Joey Mickley.
Yeah.
I might need in on those. Maybe it's life lessons with Super D.
Yep.
Is that what? Okay.
Yes.
Maybe I didn't even know you had this class, but maybe I need to start taking it.
Yeah.
So I can learn
it's free.
How to be a good guest.
Yeah,
how to take your gloves off and dust the starting line off. I can learn so many useful things in life.
Thank you. So you may do, and if you do, you need to stop it, okay, Landon?
This rant.
But guys that want to dust their spot off on the line, no problem with that. Do it. Get you some better traction. But why are you doing it with your gloves on, palms down? You know what dust on hand grips does? Make it really hard to hold on. Going to make you pump up because you're going to have to hold on tighter. Use either the backs of your gloves or take the gloves off, wipe your spot, wipe your gloves on the back of your pants, preferably around the knee, where the crease is. That way your gear still looks all nice and fresh. That way that Sofa brand can stand out. Use our code at checkout, RTRP. But I see CJ does it all the time. Garrett, all the time, with their gloves palm down, and I'm like...
So since we had this discussion, you've had this discussion, you went over this rant with me, I do use the back of...
Use the black...
But my gloves have holes in them.
Oh.
Because Kevin Allen Cleveland didn't give me any gloves. He got them for me just to bring them to the last race.
He did that with me with a helmet one time. I said, hey, I need a new helmet. And we get to the track. I said, where's my helmet? He goes, in my shop. Good thing I brought another one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
He did turn the truck upside down, though, to try to find them. They were at the shop.
They were just at the shop where he left them.
Yeah.
What a guy. That's all-terrain motorsport.
The things we can learn just by paying attention to Super D. Again, something I've never thought about before. Take your gloves off to dust your spot.
Yeah. Palms.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway. I just got to clap the hands together and...
Well, as sweaty as it was, it would have been mud.
Yeah,
True.
Yeah.
But my man, Joey Mickley, dude, number one in my heart, always takes the gloves off, wipes his spot, wipes his hands off, puts the gloves back on, and I was like, yes, Joey Mickley has it figured out.
Excellent. Joey Mickley, the first graduate of Super D's life lessons.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, we're about 15 minutes into me just ranting. So let's catch a break
there.
Let's catch a break, and then what we'll do is we'll jump into Iowa. We'll talk about Iowa, then we'll catch a break, and we'll catch all the action from this last round at the NEAT series. Sound good, boys?
Sound good.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, y'all just stay with us for a hot minute. We're going to catch a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right. Here we go. All right. So
we were taking a break.
So, Mitch, you were not at Iowa. I was not at Iowa, but the man at the end of the table
was at Iowa.
Was it Iowa?
He was at Iowa.
Was.
So, tell us, track, what'd you think? What'd you like? What'd you not like? All the things. Go.
Fun track. It was kind of a smaller track, but it raced more, I thought, kind of like a bigger track.
To me, sorry, you said
ahead,
smaller track. Yeah. It looked like it was smaller, but they used all the space they could.
Right.
Whereas, like this weekend at Dresden, that track was huge, and they barely used the infield at all.
Yeah.
It was nuts. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so it was just a battle from hooked up to slick to back to kind of hooked up to back to slick. It was a eventful weekend, but it.
So I know that dirt. I'm just going to interject you for a minute, Landon. But that dirt is really dark, like it's almost black. So it does have extremes, right? I mean, like it can get really tacky.
Yes.
But it can also dry out quick.
And it dried out very quick. Like,
what was set up? I mean, was it just constantly like trying to go a couple races before yours and trying to figure out what do I need to change? Like how is the track changing or what?
Right. There was a couple times that I nearly missed mine. Just got lucky with when there was watering and stuff, but. They always water right before Pro Light anyway. So
that's right. Pro Light hit the track.
But I was always trying to look at the track and see when they was going to water. But we dealt with some rain on Sunday, I believe.
Sunday,
and just like an hour downpour, and the classes I think they had a couple heat races to get in, 4 or 5 heat races to get in. Then they took an intermission, and then mains. But it super hooked up. By the like 5th main race, it was dry slick again. It's like, what in the world's happening here?
It does. That dirt's strange.
It's weird. That's something like every fall I have a buddy that lives in North Dakota, which this may be, I've never been to the South Dakota tracks, but we might need to make it up to Sioux Valley Cycle Club. But there, it's almost black.
Yeah.
And it's sticky. Like, man, it is sticky. And if it dries out, I mean, it's like, I can see
it's
where
like concrete.
Yeah, I can see where watering it is like. Well, you're going to put water down, but it's going to evaporate faster than it's going to soak in.
Yeah, it's almost like you need to rip the track up, water, and then pack it back down.
Yeah, pack it in with the moisture. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, I'm going to interject for just a second. I meant to do this in the intro, and then we can get back to discussing all things Iowa. But I've got a clarification to make, guys.
Oh, boy.
I said when we were interviewing one Mr. Tyler Allen that was the Gary Meyer Memorial Race at SVCC.
And it's not.
Indeed, it was not.
It's not.
That is where the Gary Meyer Memorial Race takes place, is at SVCC. But that will take place in September. September 14th is going to be a huge race. There's going to be a lot of people there, so make plans to attend that September 14th at SVCC. That'll be the Gary Meyer Memorial. So just clarification for those of y'all who heard my miscommunication there.
So after that, there's one more Pine Lake, the second Pine Lakes after that. So, I mean, what a great way to end the season. Go up to Sioux Valley Cycle Club and take a weekend off and then cruise over to Pine Lake. Just a quick, 30-hour drive over to Pine Lake.
Just quick.
Have you ever been there, Mitch?
I have. Fun.
Sioux Valley?
Oh, yeah. Sweet track. Have you been there?
Sweet track. That's where I got my one and only podium.
Oh, we got to go.
All right.
Yeah.
We got to go back. But, yeah, fun track. Well, actually, I mean, watching the video, they've definitely made changes from when I was there. But they've definitely got the right idea on how to make a good racetrack and really fun and just a lot of variety there. So super cool. But let's get back to Iowa. So Landino, what are some highlight things? Like what did you see there that really, really stood out to you? What was like whoa, that caught my attention. Like, that was super cool. That was good. Was awesome.
Oh man, you're making me think now.
The bee's knees, someone would say.
Well, you want the pro class? You want?
I want
anything.
Anything. Give it to me.
The 199 machine of Connor Cleveland.
Yeah.
Had an awesome day on Sunday.
Yes, he sure did. Because I'm going back through the results,
Which we all kind of know Connor, but you never know which Connor's going to come.
I think that's that age, because it's like, well, you never know.
Well,
But it makes it exciting.
Him and
that's for
Dallas
sure.
Martin had an awesome battle all weekend. That was really fun to watch. And but yeah, and then Brody Pullen getting his first win.
Wow.
That
Yeah,
was
this
was
new
really
little- this
awesome
new-
to see.
Turd head of a kid. Actually, Brody's an awesome young man. Great young man. Love him. Love his family to death. And you know, you've known the family a lot longer than I have, but I feel like, you know, like because we're a team, right?
Yeah,
we have really coached up Brody from last year. I mean, this is only like his what?
I think we're still.
We're not a
seventh race,
I was gonna
eighth
say, I
race.
think we're still in the single digits of how many TT races he's actually
Not even
been
a
to.
complete season yet.
Yeah.
and wins
crazy.
a pro main.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
He
how many
doesn't
pro
know
main-
any better. He's like,
yeah. Well, I'm glad Landon's here, because I was like, I wanted to be like, you know how many pro mains I've won? None. And then it's like, well, if this was just me and Mitch, this would be like, I kind of have a laundry list of ones I've won. But and I'm not. You may be in Mitch's side. I don't know, but I'm assuming you don't have any pro TT wins.
No, I mean none to really brag on. You know,
Gotcha. I don't either.
some local Arkansas stuff, but
Yeah.
You
Doesn't
know,
really count.
hey guys, it's not all about winning, but it is
That's
really
right.
nice to win.
I agree.
You know, I mean, not all about it, but it is cool to win.
Yeah.
Hey,
But that was super cool.
Back
Super
to
cool.
Connor.
Yeah.
Okay, so Larry and I were having a conversation, and he was like, dude.
Wait, Larry Martin.
Larry Martin, to
Dallas's-
clarify,
Dallas's
Dallas
dad?
Martin's dad. He
Yeesh.
was just talking about the battles that Dallas and Connor have had. He said they've been so great, and that him and Kevin Allen have actually kind of been talking setup stuff, and they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you know, they're kind of going back and forth
Yeah.
and changing stuff, and they're like, so, you know, these dads are major competitors too, and their sons are just duking it out, and they're going back and forth, and it's just like whoever gets that setup just right, and they're even helping each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's really pushing the level of both boys. I think you're really seeing that. So.
It is. And that's one thing that I think so cool about that super mini class is, which, you know, in the NE series, it's a little bit bigger.
Huge.
Yeah.
Thing's huge.
That super mini class
31.
is kind of insane. But man, it just seems like any of those kids can win any weekend.
Yep.
It just whoever nails the setup, whichever kid is there that weekend, you know.
That's right.
Kind of like Daniel mentioned too, you know.
So it's a age thing. It's
Yeah.
a setup thing. I mean, these machines are so close
Oh,
in
yeah.
their horsepower and the way they're handling. But you're right. That's what we were talking about before. It's like 31. Only 20 make it to the main. And of those 20, I bet there's 10 of them in, like, you could have a different podium every single race.
Absolutely.
So super, super entertaining. And for that class to be that big, like, Honda, you are welcome.
Well, and I mean,
Yeah.
that shows you where the sport's going to. I mean,
That's
that is the
right.
future of the sport. So that's just awesome to see.
I think I made a joke. I told Eric on this last Saturday. I said, Honda right now is just going, we got to keep building these 150s. But if you go to like a amateur national, you don't see hardly any
none of them.
Honda 150s. That's because the reason they keep building them is because the ATV guys, the quadists, keep buying the dirt bikes to take the engines out and put them in the four wheelers.
Yep.
But dude, it's so much fun to watch because they're all, and we've said, I mean, we're beating a dead horse here on this whole deal, but they're also even on horsepower that it comes down to you've got to be able to ride, number one, and get a start, and then the overall setup. Like that's where a lot of these races on these super minis are won in the trailer.
Yep, that's right.
You know, and being able to read the track and stuff. And some guys are going, the slicker the better. And other guys going, get that thing hooked up. Like when it's hooked up, they come to life, you know. But yeah, I was pumped for Connor. I don't think Saturday went as swell.
No.
Because I was like, what do we do? Come on, big guy.
Like I said, depends on which Connor shows up.
But Sunday he is it the what gear is he wearing? We need to figure out if the bad days are a certain gear and the good days are the other gear. We need to just wear the other gear all the time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what gear.
I need to check. It's all 7.
That's a good
stuff.
theory.
I'll say he's 7.
Yeah.
I mean,
sponsored by Bubba Stewart.
Yeah, Bubba's World.
I'm here for it. I mean, I have my ears open to Super D. You know, I'm like his biggest critic. I like to give Super D a hard time, but you know, the more critic.
I say that was almost a me word. I heard critic. And it's critic. I almost now I'm making. Never mind. Move on.
So I was just talking about where I was going is I'm going to start enrolling in your courses because you know you're very observative and you seem to have a life together. But I'm already adapting to your language, and so maybe I won't before I will.
It's not
so
good.
Anyway, back to it.
Good time.
Landon, got anything else to share with us from the Iowa Midwest EDT?
Man, it was a good time. Wish I could have done a little bit better. I took the 137 machine out.
The time was ticking.
Yeah. It's
So what had happened is I knew that your machine was was with Kevin Allen.
Yes.
And so when we rode it a few weeks ago at Tennessee, we were both like, oof, she needs some clutches. So going into Iowa, I reached out to you and I said, hey, man, what if we put our boy Landon on your machine? Because, you know, we are a team.
That's right. We are.
And you said, go for it. So I called Kevin Allen. I said, do you have a set of clutches for a KTM? He said, I think, but if not, I can get some. I said, overnight them. I'll pay for it, whatever. Let's get our boy Landon on the 137 machine. I said, and to like spice it up a notch because you don't have anything else going on, you know, running your own business and a race team. Do you have some of Landon's old plastic to stick on there too? And he's like, oh yeah. And so he goes, you just made my week a whole lot shorter, but it's fine. Like I got it. I said, well, I would come over and help, but I'm busy out the wazoo too. So anyways, nobody says anything to Landon. Like he's just going because just going. And they get there and flung the door open and there's the 924 machine. That's like, wait a second.
Man, I was so confused at first. I'm like, wait, they built me my own KTM? This is awesome. And I'm looking at it more and I'm like, Elka, JB. I'm like, oh, this is Mitch's ride. Yeah. So it did have, and thank you, Ryan, Nick Kisner, because he loaned me a spark plug. Your spark plug, half of the porcelain was gone.
Oh, boy.
So that's why I thought it was running terribly. And so I got it out, my mechanic, Kevin Allen, he got it out, and we put the new one in. Take it down through the field. It's still just not running very good. And I come back and it just starts making this awful knocking noise. And I'm like, yeah, this is too expensive for me. I'm just going to shut it off.
Well, and that's what even after Tennessee, Mitch was like, I'm just going to leave this with Kevin. This motor's got some hours on it. It needs a little, and we need to do a little tune-up on it.
Yeah, top end's one thing, and then a whole grenaded everything is
that's a different story.
Yeah.
So we're gonna quit while we're ahead.
So Kevin Allen, he calls me and he's like, dude, he said, I told Super D, like, are you just that in tune with your machine that you knew? And I was like, no, just a good guess. Like I just was like my intuition saying, she probably needs to be checked out. He was like, because it was the timing on that was impeccable. I'm like, no, just strictly a guess. Like everything just kind of lined up. Then I thought, she needs to be rebuilt. It's already over here at Kevin Allen's. We'll leave it here to get rebuilt.
Just get her done. Yeah.
Wish you could have finished out the weekend on the machine, but
I do appreciate the gesture. That was awesome. I wish I could have seen my face whenever it got rolled out of the trailer because
Dad said he goes, I should have been recording and I wasn't.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
but yeah, appreciate it and appreciate Jeff Brown too. He let me finish out the rest of the weekend on his machine. So that was awesome.
What a guy, that Jeff Brown. What a guy. So it was also pretty cool. Several of we had some other faces made their way down to Iowa, especially in the pro class, pro and pro open. Matt Tanksley, Matt Tanksley, he made it down. got himself 4 podiums. Matt was 2 for 4.
Yeah.
4 for 2. He got second in every race, all the races. Second.
Second.
Which,
Nice.
I mean, if you want consistency,
Boom.
That's
Matt
it.
Tanksley got it.
Keenan Shellum came down, Mason Slindy, and some other guys, from up in the northern part of the country, don't y'all know? So that was cool to see those guys come down and mix it up a little bit.
Tanksley can rip that machine, boys.
Yeah.
I've seen the
Yeah,
boy
he
ride.
can.
He can rip.
Yeah.
Really, I like his style too, man, because it's a little, not just like mine, but he's got a little style like mine. Like
It's pretty Cindy.
he sends it. He lets her eat. So Matt Tanksley, man. What a guy. What a guy.
So before we get off Midwest racing, coming up, not this weekend, but 4th of July weekend, Friday and Saturday. I said on the live stream this past weekend, it's Saturday, Sunday, because it normally always is. But this year, it's Friday night, Saturday night. And Friday night is the Billy Clayton Memorial Triple Crown. Pro class, $5,000 to win.
Wow.
$5,000. 5,000 doll hairs.
Oh, if I knew I could run 20 laps or 15.
Hey man, it's
or
only
10,
like 10 minutes.
3.
I think it's only 10 laps.
I don't.
Like that.
Dude, have you seen CJ ride? I mean, have you seen that guy?
Seen him pass me a couple
Have you
times.
seen Garrett ride that track?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
It is
I
going
would
to
be
be
fighting
exciting.
for a couple hundred. It's awesome that they've got a purse like that together. $5,000 to win.
$5,000. Second place is 1,000. Third place, and then they pay out. It drops obviously, but it pays out back to like 8 or 10 spots.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then that'll be Friday night. Then they'll have a race again Saturday. I plan on being there. Landon's going to be there.
Sweet.
Maybe
So,
I don't know. So
remain in the race with some live feed.
Yeah.
I will be on vacation,
sure.
so maybe, just maybe,
Dylan Murdoch, he was talking to us through the live stream, and then he just came up in the press box Saturday because we were joking with Eric about the bucket truck that I was in Tennessee, and of course he wussed out on that deal. He had to get like a trailer with a guardrail around it that he could get up and down anytime. Like, pathetic. And so Dylan's like, hey man, you want a 40, 50, or a 75 footer? He said, I have all 3 bucket trucks and we can get you up in them for the live stream. And I think he was talking to me, and I just turned to Eric and I said, so which one you going to be in, buddy? Which one you going to do? And he's like, I don't know if I can do it. And I said, yeah, we'll make it work. So anyway, we'll definitely live stream that Triple Crown stuff. So
sweet. Get
we
up
may
in the
not get
bucket
all of
truck.
it, but we will definitely do that. So yeah, mark your calendar. You don't have anything going on. It's the 5th and 6th, July 5th and 6th. Come on down to Soxton. Come and hang out. Go eat at Lambert's. If you come for the whole weekend, you can go to Lambert's on Sunday afternoon. They open at 11. Be the first in line. Get you some throwed rolls. They literally throw rolls to you. It's great.
Yeah,
So
home of the throwed a roll.
home of the throwed rolls.
Raise
So-
your arm, boom, here it comes.
Dude, and you drink out of these giant mugs, these big plastic like travel mugs. And I was there one night eating with some of my family, and we were sitting back in the corner, and this new server had just set down a whole like 6 cups, and the roll guy was on the other end of the restaurant, and he just launches a roll. And he didn't put quite enough mustard to get over all those cups. And it hit and just looked like a bomb. Just woof! And tea and Sprite and all the sodas and pop are going everywhere. It was incredible.
Oh, awesome.
Best day ever.
That is
Pop,
awesome.
you say?
Huh?
Pop, you say?
Well, we were having this conversation with Quinn. So in our neck of the woods, everything's Coke.
Yeah.
And people go, well, what type of Coke do you want? And you're like, well, I want a Mountain Dew or Pepsi, Dr. whatever. Well, Quinn's
Except
like,
for when you're traveling with me, you get water.
you get water. That's right. I think for most of the country, it's soda. Hey, what kind of soda do you want? And then there's a few places around the country that are pop. Get you some pop. And I'm like, and it's funny because I'm like, y'all are weird. And they're like, no, actually, you're the weird
Yeah.
one. And it's like, oh,
You
okay.
call
well,
everything a Coke.
yeah, everything's a Coke. But well, hey, let's transition over to hot off the press, the NEAT series, round 3. from
At Muskingum County Speedway,
And it was-
Dresden, Ohio.
blazing hot in Ohio. Like
Yes.
hottest day on record this early in the summer. I mean, it was
It
brutal.
was exceptionally hot. It's crazy it was that hot, honestly. Dude,
brutal.
how about the Moran family, though?
Oh, yeah. Tristan Morand, Dylan Morand is a
Devin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Devin Morand is a big-time late model racer. Just won a big super cool. Tristan is another sibling, part of the Moran family. He runs the track, and he was so cool. We literally got VIP wristbands. And he's like, "Yeah, man, cool. What do y'all need? Come on in." And just like so
That
nice.
happened. It happened.
It was
VIP.
awesome. So shout out to all the Morans. The guy driving the water truck is his dad, who was the first guy to win $1 million in late
The
models
first $1 million man.
at Elmira. I'm going to say it wrong.
If you wouldn't have said it, I would.
I'm sorry.
Eldora.
Eldora.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And so they say when they're doing the oval that the dad will be out there drifting the water truck, putting out water like it's a late model.
Yep.
And,
What they said.
But just so nice, so welcoming. Hey, whatever you need. They basically gave us the keys to the press box. We're like, whatever you need, we'll get it, And then Quinn was our DoorDash guy. We'll get to that here in a little bit too. But it was hot, but man, it was a lot of fun.
It was. It was a ton of fun. Super D.
Yep.
Let's hit. Like, what things really stood out to you? What jumped out to you at the NE-EDT? Like, obviously, a great turnout, great racing, top to bottom. 31 in the super mini class, multiple classes that were just completely stacked and great racing. A great time up there calling the live. Like, I had a blast with that. But give me some highlights. Give me your high points. Like, what just really jumped out to you, man?
Man, I loved. Right off the top, 31 in the super mini class. Like when you have to run 2 LCQs for one class, like that's insane.
Yeah.
Another thing that just it never dawned on me because I'm thinking Ohio, like that's a long drive. Like, whoa, that's a long drive. And I talking to CJ and said, "Hey, how far of a drive was it for you?" He goes, "Well, about 6 hours." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's the same distance from our house to here as it is from our house to just passing through." And I said, "Really?" And so then I'm visiting with, "Hey, how far of a drive was it?" "Oh, it's about 7 hours." "Oh, it's about 8 hours." And I'm like, holy, and then we're talking to Sean, and he goes, "It is unbelievable. You look at how many racers we have and where they're from. This Ohio track is actually really centrally located." And I'm like, that just blew, because I'm thinking from Arkansas. That's just kind of my go-to thing. And it's like, no, there's other states out there besides Arkansas. So that was really cool for me just to see that level of a track and that many people turn 200 or 210 racers for a total of 375 entries.
Very good. And
Awesome.
Not far down the road is Briarcliff MX. You know, we got up there and we started talking about the Legends motocross race coming up the week after Pine Lake. So maybe like July 27th, the date that stands out in my mind.
That is correct.
But I looked, I'm like, I wonder how far it is from here. And it was like not many miles. It was like 21 minutes. I'm like, wow, that's right down the road, So.
And then I got confused because you said that, and I'm like, "Oh, they're racing this weekend," and you're like, "No."
They were racing this weekend, but they were at one Sunset Ridge in Illinois. So that's why they were a little west of us for sure.
Yeah.
Well, Super D, I will tell you what jumped out to me.
Well, I guess I did say what I was going to say. I had more, but go on.
Oh, well, keep going.
No,
go
it's
ahead.
fine.
Okay, I can't hold back anymore.
Okay.
Dude, Aubrey Walker just absolutely blew my socks off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that class is so fast, and she was rolling. And I was just like, I just guess I'd underestimated for her age. I'd heard she was good, but the speed she was carrying, she said she likes adrenaline, she likes going fast, and there was no exaggeration in her voice.
No.
I mean, wow. It really surprised me how hot she was going into that corner.
And to make that even better, she rides a Honda chassis with the KTM 350 motor, where she broke a swing arm bolt and they got her another one, rode a few laps, broke another one. It's like, okay, that motor is definitely trying to jump out of that chassis.
Yeah.
And so she had to ride our man Dylan Jones's other Yamaha that he has, D-board, 399 for the class stuff they were in. And
a whole new machine to
and
her.
I was talking to her, we were talking about makeup and stuff because that, me and Aubrey are tight like that. She's a big Sephora gal. She's not real big into Ulta, but Sephora's got some stuff coming out. She really likes it. It does a great thing for her complexion. Yeah, we can get into it if you want.
Okay,
but she said, she goes, yeah, I've never rode a Yamaha. I don't have much time on a Yamaha. And I said, well, just kind of feel it out. And I think she felt it out for about breath of the throttle and was just, and even in practice, it was like watching her go into that first turn sweeper, which we've got on TV now. Like a pro, she'd get off on the peg and just hammer it. There was a couple times, even on the live stream, I think all three of us just kind of stared and we were like, holy moly, like Aubrey Walker, and they're all those guys in that 200, 400 class, the junior 12 to 15. They're all great riders, but it's just Aubrey. She's just little to begin with, and just no fear. And we were both.
It's
like,
not what you
whoa!
expect with her size. It is not what you expect, and it's like whoa. That in that class, Dylan Jones, Wes Stanley were sending it. They were absolutely riding phenomenal.
It was great.
But just to see her size and see that she was not scared to run off in there on a machine that she's not even familiar with. So absolutely. And then one Kinley Reed, Super D.
I'm a 007 fan.
You have been from the moment you saw it.
Yeah.
You saw that 007
her mom and dad were in
that tabletop
church service on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And she rode the 70 class, won it by a landslide. 90 class, won it by a landslide. And then she also rode, I think,
Super Mini.
Yeah, not the other one, the All-Star.
So this will be her first season in the Super Mini class.
And she didn't even have to LCQ in the Super Mini. She just sent it through in the heat race.
Go on.
I think they took she got fourth in her heat race.
Wow.
And I'm like, and then the step below that, there's a young lady, Maggie Allen, who is Chad Allen's daughter. She was doing great too. And so there's you look at we were talking about Mel, about Torch.
Yeah.
And just the way she rides, it's like, she's a great person, great racer, obviously. And then you see this, in her footsteps, here comes Aubrey Walker. Here comes Kinley Reed. And I love it. As a dad of a daughter now, as you are as well, as River is right here with us. What up, River? I love it, man. I love to see it. And it's so cool. So I'm with you. That also impressed me. But yeah, that Super Mini class was just, how about Corbin Beasley?
Corbin Beasley. Oh, man, dude.
He's the one that won the Super Mini class?
Yeah.
Yes.
JB 150.
Gone.
Oh, yeah. Dude, those JB mods. I say it and I'll say it and say it again. That has special memories on a JB mod, even though it wasn't the 150 platform. It was a two-stroke. But, dude, Corbin Beasley was on it. He was riding that mod how it's supposed to be ridden. He was letting it hang out, and he was rolling.
He was next level. Dallas had a good weekend. Carson,
dude, Dallas.
Cameron Burchett had a good weekend.
Yes.
Dallas had to fight for every position he got.
Yeah, he came from the back every time.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I was watching the live stream.
He did awesome. Mason Turner, Waylon Dial, all these guys were awesome. By the way, Kinley got 11th in Super Mini. So
are the 90 mods, are they phased out?
There was
strictly
one.
There was one 90 mod there, but there were a couple JB mods with the 150 motors in there.
Yeah.
I wonder if this will tell me.
That were moving good. But yeah, Corbin Beasley,
Charlie's
was
is a
on
150, right?
Charlie's is a 150 JB mod, correct? That is correct.
It's kind of sad to see because that's, me and Mitch come up on the 90 mods.
Well, yes and no. I would say, just being a while that I haven't seen them as much. You're seeing so many of these, the TRX platform, the little Yamaha,
the Raptor,
Raptor platform. But you see a JB mod, I'm like, oh man, look at that thing.
Yeah.
And then to see them send it around the track and ride the wheels off that thing and run great lap times was awesome to see.
Speaking of him, there he is.
There's the Corbin Beasley up here on the
screen.
On the screen. We can relive it again, boys.
He was
exciting.
He was crushing it. Dude, okay, the 12 to 15 junior class was awesome. Dylan Jones and Wes Stanley were going. Asher Burris mixed it up in there. Of course, the 960. Whoop, whoop. Aubrey Walker. Noah Caldwell was in there too. Tessa Martin's in there. I mean, there's just, good grief. It is insane. The awesome, racers that are... Gavin Sahone, he took a little tumble. in one of the mains. Think he's going to be all right. But man, it was just, dude, there was so many
Competition from top to bottom.
Almost every, I think of the 29 classes, I think 20 or 22 had 2 heats. Some had 3 heats. Some had 4 heats. But all of them had, and I'm like, dude, that is so awesome.
Absolutely.
I love
Tells you about the state of the sport. Good
Yeesh.
competitive racing.
Yeesh.
Really from top to bottom. We're highlighting the youth a lot right now, but the women's class, Quinn was like, wow, this class is huge, and these ladies are rolling. And they were. I'm like, we've highlighted many times on here the state of the women. Women's class is awesome. Amateur racing, awesome. How about the pro class? Mr. CJ Robson is good.
Next level.
Man.
Goodness, man. Because the whole class is just absolutely
So
rolling.
here's some in the Pro-Am. Sean, we got to do something with this name because it's Pro-Am 400, 450 Hoosier. Is Pro-Am Limited, Pro-Am Unlimited? Like those, I don't know. Anyways, not important. But our boy, Mr. Brad Riley, something happened in the heat race. It was just kind of a freak deal. He has to go to the LCQ, wins the LCQ. So he's on the second row. They ended up having 3 rows. I think there was 2 guys. He got the last spot.
He was the 19th pick.
Yeah. And so, and by the first turn, he's in like 4th.
And after getting winded, pushing his stepson.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about
That's
that.
what I noticed about it.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he pushed it. He pushed his stepson. Then he nearly pulls the
By
whole
the
shot
way,
from second row.
Tanner Terry, love Tanner Terry. He's such a hoot. Dude has grown like 6 inches.
Yep.
Because I was like, oh, Tanner Terry. Because at first I thought it was Aaron. I was like, what up, Aaron? It's Tanner. What's up, man? So he's coming along. By the way, the race that Aaron did good in, I did put fuel in his bike for that race. So
That's probably why.
Put a little extra juice in there.
Put a little sauce on there. But yeah, man, that was cool and it's like Brad and Chucky have been around this sport for so long.
Speaking of that, yes, that was probably my favorite race of the day is the heat race. I don't know if it's maybe the pro heat race where Brad and Chucky were going at it, and you're like, you see Chucky just come, you're like, oh, it's gonna be close, and like out of the Joker, he was just, and Brad ended up getting it, and that's where he won. Yeah, that was the pro class because he won the fastest qualifier at that point. But man, that one was close. That was some great racing right there.
Pro-Am Open is where that was, by the way.
Pro-Am Open is where that was. It was a heat race, right?
Yes.
Get your
Pro-Am
facts
Unlimited?
straight, MTR. Whatever it was, Brad won the heat.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
y'all were talking. You're like, oh, Chucky's gonna get him. Chucky's gonna get him. And then it comes out of the Joker, and Brad just slips right back in there and wins it. So
Yeah. Okay.
But-
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll find it here. I got you. We can move on.
I'm gonna stick with the pro heat, but
It had to be.
I definitely could be wrong.
Sorry, I'm
because
trying to drive on the computer here as we're talking, but
you racing around the track at the moment. But great racing, Super D. You got anything else to mention about our time there at the racetrack in Muskingum?
it was. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong number over here. It was the pro. It was Pro Heat 2.
Thank you. All
You're
right,
welcome.
good. My memory
You were
did
right.
not.
Sorry.
All right. Well, my memory did not fail me. So.
There was one race that Brandon Beasley got second in a heat race. Maybe it was the Pro-Am one. I think it was Pro-Am or the Pro-Am 400, 450.
He was moving
Yeah,
good.
Heat 2, second place. Brandon Beasley, number 20.
Way to go, Brandon.
That's awesome. Hey, just a guy that just impressed me all weekend. The results don't really show it, kind of, sort of. Tyler Allen, and it's not just
Yes.
because we interviewed him last. Go listen to episode 51, the Kook. But he has put together a program for this year, and it is working. And
It is.
And I figured out why I feel like when he rides, he looks so loose and he runs his visor really high, and the nose piece on the front of his helmet is down a little bit. So between the top of his visor to the top of his nose piece, the piece right in front of your face, there's a huge gap. So to me, it always looks like he's looking up at the sky because I run my visor kind of neutral. but just the way he rides, it's like he never moves. It's the Michael Colburn, never move, but it's still fast as all get out.
It is.
And I even told him, I said, I know why I feel like it. As I watch you, it doesn't look like you're trying. And he's like sweating to death and out of breath. He's like, well, I'm definitely trying. I said, oh, I know you are. I'm just saying it just looks like you're not. I said, I think it's your visor's high. And he's like, what? And I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. But I was
You
super.
keep doing you.
I said, you keep doing you, bro. But I was very, very impressed.
You
with,
can tell that whatever training he's been doing, like
Tyler Allen.
he was just coming on harder and harder. I would like to see his lap times if we actually had transponders. By the way, we need to make a push. Bring TT racing back.
My goodness.
We're getting rid of EDT. We're going to go back to TT racing. We're going to bring transponders back, and we're going to have lap times. We're going to have live timing. Yeah, I'm saying I have any part in any of this. But
some of you that are motocross people and listen to the Pulp MX show, if you do, great. If you don't, that's fine. I'm not endorsing it or anything like that. I know Landon does. But he has a rant, and it's a sponsored rant. And I have a guy that's going to come on board on the podcast and join, and he's going to sponsor our rants every week, okay? Because this, what was you just talking about?
I was talking about transponders.
Transponders, yes. Sorry, I was like, why am I ranting about Tyler Allen? But it's about transponders. Okay, so Kenny Bullington. I know you're listening. Great to see you this weekend. He wore 9 different sets of gears because his didn't show up. It's a whole thing. But Kenny's going to sponsor the rant section, the cane brake. We'll figure out a creative name for it.
Cane brake your back.
That's stop.
I don't know.
I was
reaching.
Where's the drop?
I have that on here somewhere.
Absolute fail there, but
that was a flop. But because
can
two
you break
things.
the bank?
2 things that Kenny's going to love about this. The first one is you cannot read those numbers at night. Once the night got here, we're like, and number, you kind of can tell people's gear and stuff, but when there's 200 and something to memorize, it's kind of hard to do.
It is.
And we were struggling so bad. And then I'm thinking about the ladies that have to score all this. And I was just like, dude, those score ladies, they need a pay raise.
Yep.
They need whatever they want, get it for them. Sean, if you're listening, whatever the score ladies need, get it. Because even Tasha up there with us was like, yeah, I don't know what that was. I couldn't see it, but because she was up in the booth with us and there was other ones down right on the track. And so we're going to get Kenny to help out because you can't read the number plates. That's rant number 1. Rant number 2 is poor Kenny. I love Kenny Building. He's so nice. He's such a good guy. Love Kenny. He was looking at the wrong light. The NE-EDT
twice.
2 times.
Twice.
2 times. So
Third time was a charm.
Third time was a charm. Runs 2 heat races, and the series always brings their own light, which every flat track race that's ever run in the history of time needs to go off these lights. I'm sure we could get one off Amazon. Like, it cannot be that hard. We're gonna make it happen, because we just need to do it. We'll send me a link. We may sponsor it. Okay. Something. Let's figure it out because we can't be going off flags. Okay. That's number 1. The other thing is, so the NE series has their own light. Well, this is a Lucas Oil top of the line motor Speedway, and so there's traffic lights all the way around the facility. Well, they were really hard to see. And so everyone in Kenny, I think it was 35 plus, is lined up, and everyone is looking to their left at the little box that has the green and the red light in it. And Kenny is looking to the right to the giant traffic light that's kind of hard to see, but he could see it. And I'm in the press box just yelling at him, wrong light, Kenny! It's the wrong light, Kenny! And they take off, and he's just sitting there, and he looks around, and you can tell he's like, the light! And then he looks over and sees it, and he just drops his head and just, and takes off.
I think I'll take off now.
And I'm like, oh, Kenny, I'm so sorry. Okay. So then in his next heat race, same thing again. And so between the heats and the mains,
redemption was sweet in the main, wasn't it?
We're over in Chucky's trailer eating our steak from Texas Roadhouse from the DoorDash Quinn Michaels. I don't know why I keep getting his name backwards. And Kenny walks in And I just started smiling, and I said, Kenny? And he goes, I know, man. I know. I was looking at the wrong light. I said, dude, I was yelling. And then I'm like, well, he's down there on the start line with bikes running, rev to the moon. He can't hear me anyway. I said, but I just want you to know, I was trying to get your attention to say, look at the wrong light. And so he comes out in his first main of the night, very inside gate, and rips a hole shot like no tomorrow. And if you go back and listen to the live feed, I think Mitch goes, he saw the light. He saw the light.
Okay.
You know,
I did hear that, and I was like, what are they talking about?
I think there might have been a song accompanied by that because
I saw the light. Yeah, I was
Yep.
singing a lot. I was
There
really
was-
sleep deprived.
there were a lot of singing going on.
Yeah. Hey, another shout out is man, Cole Moore, still TRX in it, 6th place in the Pro-Am Hoosier class. Let me switch over here to Pro. Cole had a good weekend. 6th place in Pro, and he also ran the Open Pro-Am. And no, he didn't. I take that back. He didn't race that one.
Those are two guys that that you've mentioned there, Tyler Allen and Cole Moore. I think if we did 50 laps, those dudes are winning because they just kept coming on. They were
The
just
longer
kind of
the race went, the better they got.
Like
Yep.
kind of poorish starts, but man, you just keep seeing them just lap after lap. You're like, their lap times have to be picking up because they were just pushing harder and harder and harder. Those two dudes were really coming on at the end. That stood out to me too. That's some good stuff. So whatever training program. Cole's probably we know he's riding a little MX on the side for sure.
I told him and Kiefer both. I said, y'all got to stay off those dirt bikes.
Obviously, it's working for them. So
No.
I do not agree with you, Super D.
No, stay off those dirt bikes.
They know better. Stay on whatever they're doing because it's working. Tyler Allen, whatever you're doing, it's working, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your fitness is on point. So it's good.
It was good weekend, man. Great to catch up with so many people. Man, I just love being at the race. I love smelling the fuel. I love just standing there and Dylan Dorick just blasting that berm in practice, just peppering everyone. And did anybody move? No. We all just stood there.
No, you just you blinked to try to get a little bit of the dust out of your eye, wipe
but
it
man,
off your eyebrows, and then
so
wait
much
for him for the next lap.
So much fun just to catch up and visit and meet some people. Like I'd never met Tyler and Chicky, and so I made it a point to go over and say, "Hey, I'm Daniel," and they're like, "Oh yeah, good," So it was cool to shake hands, put a name with a face, and
absolutely. I
love it, man. I love everything about it. It was a great weekend. Again, before we wrap this up, I have to tell our travel home story, and I have pictures to prove this.
Okay.
So last year we go to Black Ankle. We bring our boy Ryan with us, who ate 500 packets of tuna fish, and then was literally melting the paint off the inside of the plane on the way home and blaming it on some senior citizens. But last year we go to Black Ankle, and we decided hey, let's get a hotel after the race right beside the airport. And so we leave the track. Mitch and Ryan immediately go to sleep. So I get us to the hotel.
Yeah, I went to sleep in the car. But you guys,
we hadn't
y'all
even
pounded
left Star, North Carolina.
No, that Pro-Am Unlimited race was over, and I was tired. You guys were pounding Red Bull. I'm like, I know better than do that. I'm going to get some sleep here.
Yeah, well, I got us there.
You did get us there.
So we get it to the hotel. Y'all take showers. I just laid down on the bed. Didn't get under the covers. I literally just laid on the bed, disgusting. So tired. So I lay down, and then I'm like, I'll get up, shower, and then we'll cruise over to the airport. And we end up being late. So apparently to check a bag, you have to be there an hour before your plane starts boarding. We didn't know that. We were 45 minutes before our plane left the ground. And they're like, no. So Mitch and Ryan, go back and listen to that episode. It was great. Mitch and Ryan, they take off. They go to try to catch the plane. And I'm like, I'll stay with the bag. Okay. So we learned our lesson. Okay. Don't go to the hotel and lay down because it's going to ruin everything. So this time, Quinn, we're leaving the track, and Quinn says, hey, what do you want to do? And I told Mitch, I said, man, this is going to not be that great, but we do not need to go lay down in the bed. One, because Quinn's guest bedrooms are fantastic. I said, we need to go take a shower, get cleaned up, and we just need to go like sleep in the airport. And he's like, I think we do too. Because we had the time would have worked out. We would have just been getting in the REM sleep and then had to wake up. It's like, we never need to get there. So we go to the airport. Quinn drops us off at 1:30 in the morning. We walk in, got our boarding passes, but there wasn't anybody at the thing to take the bag, our gear bag. And so we just go over in the corner, and I've got a picture. Mitch has got his feet up, head on the bag. I put my legs over the gear bag and my backpack under my head, and we just go to sleep for like 3 hours. When we can. There's people walking by, just nonchalantly, and I'm like, I'd wake up every once in a while and be like, oh, okay, they're not stealing stuff, okay. And so we drop the bag off about 4:30. We get through security, all this stuff, get on the plane. Everything's fine. We're exhausted, but everything's going fine. So as we're hustling from first plane to second plane, because we had like 30 minutes, ended up making
between landing and plane taking off.
Yeah, not like pre-boarding. Like we land at 7:27 and the plane starts boarding at 7:29.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're definitely not the first group, which is fine, but we've got 30 minutes. So we hoof it, make it, no problem. And at some point along this way, I did the dumbest thing ever and made a comment about how smooth it was going. I said, man, Mitch, I'm tired, but I know we've got another 2-hour flight, and I think I'm going to make it. And he goes, it's not bad. And I said, okay. So we get on the plane. We get set down. I actually had the window seat this time. We both go to sleep. I wake up about 30, 40 minutes later, and I'm just like, dude, these AirPods I've got, like the noise canceling is phenomenal. I can't hear a thing. It's like we haven't left. And I raised the shade, still on the ground. We hadn't left. They had pushed back from the gate, something, and the pilot's like, yeah, okay. I have no idea what he said. Something.
Okay back there?
Yeah. All right, okay, back up. Is the engine on? Is the engine not on? I don't know. So we go back to the gate. We ended up sitting on the plane 2 hours.
Yeah.
We were supposed to depart Atlanta at 8:10. Finally, at I think it was 10:10. We finally leave, and I was like, I just had to make the comment, So we sleep in the airport, we're sleeping on planes, we're doing all these things, and then like we both know, because as soon as we get back, like we immediately shift back into dad mode, like
it's time to get home to see our family.
It's dad duties, that's and we signed up for it. I'm not complaining. That's what we signed up to do.
We were ready. We were ready.
And it was something. So I've got some pictures I'll post of Mitch and I sleeping in the airport. It was
and I
great.
actually did pretty good that day. It was like about 5:30 is when, man, I sure enough hit a wall, and we had to go to VBS still. So I was like, I've just got to keep moving with these kids. Like I've got to keep moving because I am so tired. But those 30-minute increments, like I wasn't even as alert as you were. Like I would 30 or 45 minutes, and then I just kind of look around and barely open my eyes, and then look around. It was like an hour and a half later too. I'm like, Daniel, what are we doing?
I think you leaned over because I was finally like, okay, I'm not going to sleep. I was watching something on your phone, and you're like, what's happening? And I'm like, I don't know, man. A guy walked out with a hammer and started banging on the engine. I don't know. But I did tell him not to like safely land this thing. I mean, if we're going to crash, you better make sure this thing goes down hard. I don't want to limp away from this thing, okay?
Sure counts.
Like,
I want to meet Jesus today.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that.
Yes, I'm ready.
I'm pretty confident in my eternal security, so you
same
better
here.
put her in something hard there, pilot sir. And then we get off the plane, and they're just like, thank you. Thanks for flying with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Like, how about a refund? That didn't come up, but man, it was a great time. Our bag made it. Shocking. It's like they had an additional 2 hours to get it on the plane, but whatever.
So, this is going swimmingly smooth.
Yeah.
It crashed right into the freaking
But that's what
wall.
I told Mitch. I said, man, if nothing else, it gives us great stuff to talk about on the podcast, So,
man, people are creative in the airport sleeping though, because I got up. I felt like I was sleeping that 30 or 45 minutes. I'd fall asleep, and then again, you're kind of looking around and whatever. I had to go to the restroom. I got up, and dude, I mean, people are sleeping every which direction. Like they're in the chair upside down. They've got their shirts on their head. Their pants are on their head. I mean, it's
Pants are on their head?
Seriously, I guess like it was like that. This one person had a spare set of pants and had them over their head, like they were trying to get some light canceling sheets or something, or light canceling blinds. I'm like, this is creative. I am not sure about this whole environment, but we survived. I mean, it was fine.
Yeah,
we were. Yeah, if you want some entertainment, just go to the airport.
It was great, man. So much so that we finally get back to Little Rock, and I walk through the Little Rock airport like I'm going to run into everyone I know. And I'm just like looking around, and Mitch is like, what's it? I said, I'm always just looking like I know I'm going to run into somebody I know. I said, I never have, of all the years of flying into this airport, which isn't that much. I don't fly a lot, but I have never run into anyone coming home that I know. Never, ever, never.
There's not
ever.
like this big welcoming party, like Super D is here.
Welcome home. There was one time, but that's a different story. But as we're walking up the ramp, past security, I see a family from church coming down the ramp, and I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? And so I was 2 for 2 on saying things. This never happens. Like, this trip is going smooth. We're delayed for 2 hours. I never see people I know. I see a family from church. And I told Mitch, I said, well, we're still at the airport. Let's try this. And I'm like, I've never opened my bag and found $1 million. And so when we get to the carousel thing, I get our bag and I rip it open real quick. It's just ADD.
It wasn't there. I did ask him. I'm like, dude, will you give me 10%? Like if it happens, he's like, no, I'll give it 50-50.
I said, I'll split it
that's
with
what kind
you.
of guy he is.
Awesome.
He was going to split it with me.
Yeah. Well, I think you're part of the jinx or curse or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Every time we travel together, it's something, isn't it? So
that's a great.
We just got to count.
I was thinking because like Bud's Creek went smooth. We traveled separate.
We traveled. Yeah.
It's just when we're together.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Always a bad recipe, man.
I wanted to blame it on Ryan, but
kind of like Connor's gear. Well, I think we've identified the problem. It's definitely you. So
I'm not gonna lie with that. Hey, we've been at it an hour, man. It's been a good time. Again, Saxon's coming up. The Pine Lake's coming up. Some or all of us will be here in the room. Some or all of us will be at all of those events.
Yes,
so
that's exciting.
We do
will have
tease a little
boots
something
on the ground.
We're going to have a little something for everyone that's at Pine Lake Friday night. So stay tuned about that. More details to come.
Awesome. It all sounds.
We'll dangle the carrot out.
Great.
So,
just as a reminder before we get out of here, so at the Midwest EDT races, we'll be having EDT Church, and likewise at the NE-EDT races, we will be having EDT Church. So that is going to be a regular thing to take place in the morning. So kind of stay tuned for those announcements. And like always, hey man, you ever want any encouragement, definitely reach out to Super D. He's the best encourager there is. Best encourager I know. Yep. Ever want any help, any instruction, people will pray for you. Like, we're your guys. We're here for you. Mm-hmm. And we love racing. We love Jesus. And we just want to help people.
And I just want people to take their gloves off when they sweep their spot.
Super D has quite a few rants. Like earlier when he was going through his rant section, which we haven't named yet, and we're not sure. Was like, that
Kenny's
was one thing.
Kenny's going to sponsor it.
I think, well, that's going to be awesome. But I think you mentioned like 4 or 5 things. Well, that was one thing you kept saying. But
transponders. We need transponders.
Need transponders. But either way, you kept saying one thing, and I'm like, man, Super D's going to have a laundry list for this rant of one things. Yeah. And so there was this one thing, Anyway,
I feel like Kenny's going to get a lot of exposure on this podcast.
I'm here for it. Kenny deserves it. He does. He builds a great product. No problem. I mean, that cane brake ripped the whole show. Now, granted, Kenny can't get his gear to the track because he was out there riding Friday night in practice, and I'm like, I know that's Kenny's bike, the 229 machine, with new graphics on it, thanks to Kyle Scott. And I'm like, but why is Chad Allen? Why did Chad Allen shrink 2 feet, and why is he riding Kenny's bike? Chad Allen has his own bike. Why? And I couldn't figure it out. And then Kyle's like, Kenny doesn't have gear. And I'm like, who comes to a race without gear? And he's like, well, he had it shipped here. And I'm like, just check a bag, man. Like, that's what we do every week. And he's like, no. He bought new gear like way in advance. and just for the shipping address, shipped it to the track. That way, new gear, he's going to be like, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But then when he got here, none of his stuff had showed up. So he's got like one boot from Elijah Scott, one boot from Kyle Scott, ended up in Chucky's gear, borrowed a helmet, and he said, it's a whole thing, man. It's a whole thing. But hey, Kenny, you got that whole shot. You saw the light, and so we'll talk. We'll get together. We'll work something out. But we're gonna have a feature on the pod of just not really rants, just like concerned racers' thoughts.
Concerned racers' thoughts.
Sounds like a rant.
CRT provided by Canebrake Racing. The concerned racer thoughts.
We're gonna have to go back to the lab on this one.
Yeah. All right.
Definitely.
We're an hour into it. I'm tired.
All right.
We got to
pray
go.
us out, man.
We got to go. Father God, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for all your many blessings. Thank you for allowing us to do what we do. And we love going to the races. We love being able to glorify your name. Pray that you would just watch over each and every racer and their families as they prepare to go to the next event, God, and just watch over us and help us to be a light in everything that we do, Lord. We love you and we praise you in Jesus' name. And everybody said,
Amen.
Amen. Well, hey, that's the end of episode 52, and we'll catch you in the next one.